was too, since you can't really be home, according to police, try to get to the college. It's all blocked off. I mean, there are car after car, black SUV, law enforcement, federal law enforcement, local law enforcement here. Just quickly, how has this week been for you? You said you woke up to 10 text messages from your family because we're within a mile from MIT. We know a police officer was killed last night.
I'm from a really small town in Maine, so I'm not used to this stuff at all. So it's been pretty shocking.
Tori, thank you so much. And again, Aaron, here in Cambridge, we're watching, we're waiting, as just down the street, just a block away and to the right is where those two young men apparently live. We're watching to find out, and we're waiting to find out why we are increasingly moved farther and farther away. Certainly there's a reason, we just don't know yet.
All right, Brooke, thank you very much. And you see from both Brooke and Deb's experiences having to move, they don't seem to know, at least we don't know, and they wouldn't reveal for tactical reasons if they actually knew but that they are in certain areas focused very closely where they live, where they may have last seen him flee on foot.
Obviously, we're all working the phone. That's why it's always a device in our hands. What I'm hearing from investigators is, the common link here is explosives. They must have been keeping them somewhere. They had to be working with them, figuring them out. There was a learning curve. So as they're going to different avenues of opportunity, homes and places where these kids may have been, they're worried about explosive. They may well have found something. They want a perimeter safety first. They keep saying all of the ideas about who are they and why are they. That's not where investigators are right now. They just want to get this kid in custody as soon as possible and figure out everything else later. Now, to reset, one of the reasons you're not seeing the live picture that we have opportunities to show you is because authorities have asked us not to. They don't want to give away tactical positions. They have reason to believe that the young man they're pursuing and maybe people around him could be watching. They don't want information given up. If he is watching, I hope he understands that this is the last chance he may have to surrender and do something right with his life. To reset, we know there's a massive manhunt underway for this suspect. He's a 19-year-old boy. He is told a hostage himself. He was connected. He is the marathon.
Well, last night when they hijacked the car, they told him.
So they said, investigators believe that this is one of two young men they've been looking for. The other one is dead. This is what happened. Both brothers were on the run. Last night, they robbed a convenience store. In the course of that, or soon thereafter, an MIT police officer, security guard, police officer, was killed. He was a young man himself, 26 years old. Then, police began a pursuit. They wound up getting into a shootout with police, okay? And one of the brothers, the older one, 26 years old, was killed during that. We believe authorities say that the younger brother, in trying to get away, ran over his own brother. The brother who was killed had an explosive device on him. We're told he also had, when they took him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead, burns on him. We don't know if those burns were from something that happened with the explosive device at the scene. We have not been told anything happened with it at the scene, or they are from the same event that he connected himself to the hostage, which was the attacks on the Boston Marathon. The second brother, the younger one, 19 years old, then took off into the air, as they say, the investigators. They've been pursuing him in different areas of Boston. They've been close, but they haven't gotten him. They are worried he has explosives. That makes them slow down their pursuit because of the area of danger. They brought in canine units. Dogs have been excited when they've gotten to certain areas, but they usually are when they know they're going to work. It doesn't mean that they've necessarily found something. They are closing down parts of the city in a very aggressive way for a very simple reason: safety. They don't want this young man to be able to use any opportunity of another hostage, steal another car, create more victims. So they're just going to be safe. And it gives them an easier way to find people when there's less movement around. That's where we are right now. That the Boston authorities and federal authorities who are helping out in the investigation are talking to people intensively, having controlled conversations, finding locations where these young men were, and trying to get their hands on this younger brother.
And we're starting to get, bit by bit, a better picture of who these men were. And we do not know what happened to them in the most recent year, or probably two. And the people that we have talked to have known them probably a year ago, 2 years ago, and described, especially the younger brother, as quiet, normal. A man who hired him to be a lifeguard described his work ethic as very good, always showed up on time, a dedicated young man. This is the picture that's coming together. The older brother also had been a boxer, been very successful. Something then happened. Something happened to radicalize them, but we don't know. We don't know what the motivation was. We don't know whether it was some kind of extremism. We don't know if it was inspired by something overseas. These are the questions we have, and why we emphasize so much that they want to have this young man alive so that they can get answers, because an attack like this has never successfully been carried out on American soil until this week.
We're showing his face for one obvious reason, to help find him if he is somewhere. There's no intention or need to glorify this. He is not popular. He is not a celebrity. If he has done what authorities believe he's done and what he's admitted to himself, he's the last person whose face you'd want to show people. But they have not found him right now. So take a look at the face. If this is someone who's walking by, call authorities. Do not do anything yourself. Please call authorities, especially this would only apply to people who are in Boston because that's what I believe he is right now. Make the phone call, do what you can to help, but stay safe. The authorities keep saying stay in your home, don't drive around. They want to keep people as far away from this situation as possible. Now, this is still an investigation where we know there are more things we don't know than what we do. We don't know why this plan went from something that was coordinated to something so random and silly where they wound up throwing improvised grenades out of a stolen car last night towards authorities. We don't understand any of this, and we won't until they get this person in custody.
And I can tell you how quickly this happened. Last night, when we were on the air, there was a shooting at MIT, and we were covering it. We had no idea, no one did at any point, that was linked to this, and then indeed it became that it was, and this entire thing started snowballing. I want to get to Don Lemon because, Don, you know, we're trying so hard to piece together exactly who these men were, what kinds of people they were, and what might have changed, and I know you've had the opportunity to speak to another friend of the suspect.
Yeah, actually my photojournalist who's with me, Jay McMichael, got to speak to him, and then we listened to the entire interview. Also gave us other details about the search that is going on now, and you can probably hear the helicopter overhead. It's been going in an orbit around us, an orbit that's getting narrower and narrower, and there's still very heavy police presence here, and they still appear to be honing in on this triangular area, this rectangular area where we are. And again, we don't want to give away too much information about that. But listen, we told you earlier about Tamerlan and his friend who we spoke to calls him Sar, because it's Sarnaid, but they call him Tamerlan Sar, and they call the other one Jahar Sar. So they have contracted the last name, I guess, to make it more Americanized. We told you that Tamerlan was a boxer, and he had won Golden Gloves. He was a two-time Golden Gloves champion, and they wanted him to go pro. One of our reporters, Ivan Watson, who's one of our reporters for CNN International, found some information about him. He said that the results in the Salt Lake City 2009 Golden Gloves Tournament of Champions, it looks like that Tamerlan was a heavyweight in that, so he did participate. It appears that he was a boxer, and as his friend said, who we spoke to, a two-time Golden Gloves champion. The younger brother, who they're seeking right now, the one in the white baseball cap in those photographs, was a wrestler. And he, obviously 19 years old, the older brother, 26 years old. The younger brother is a wrestler. They said he was in great shape, that he also got a scholarship for it that was able to carry him to college from high school when he graduated back in 2011. Here's a friend we spoke to. He did not want to be identified. I think it's important to say he was not seeking media attention. So take a listen. Here he is.
I was pretty shocked. I mean, I called my brother. He was crying. You know, he was like, dude, that's our friends that we knew from high school that would never think that anything like that. You know, it's a complete shock, you know what I mean? Not that, you know, if you ask anyone from high school, they would tell you the same thing. You would never suspect anything from these guys. Not you know, least bit, like, you know, not from Jahar, at least. I asked, you'll find more information. This guy is a walking angel. He's a nice kid. Like,
what's his name?
Jahar Tsar. He's as American as anybody. Hangs out, goes to parties, smokes a little weed here and there, like type of thing. You know, it's not like he's some foreign dude. He's raised here. Yeah, he's raised here. He's everything over here. You know, he's just as American as I am, or anybody else is.
He's the one that we still believe is on the run.
No.
The guy in the white cap.
Yeah, the guy in the white cap.
And it sounds like
so. How long would you? That's a hard school to get into, right?
Well, it's a high school. It's the most diverse high school in the United States, second most diverse, most opportunities, one of the highest acceptance rate to Harvard.
You said they were from where? Russia, right?
No, they're from Chechnya. They speak Russian.
Come on. They don't want to be shot.
I don't even take Facebook photos.
So they're from Chechnya.
Yeah.
How long would you say they've been in the U.S.? They're from there, so
6, 7 years.
6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
All right, so again, high school, Cambridge, Wrench, and Latin went there with him back in 2000. Said he graduated in 2006 or 2007. The older brother, the younger brother graduated in 2011. Those are the pieces that we have been able to put together so far, Aaron and Chris.
interesting. I just got a note from someone close to the investigation who says there were operative theory right now about why this randomness last night could have been putting the photos and video out to the public. These two young men may have felt like the pictures were too good. They were identifiable.
Put them on the spot and made them afraid.
They got nervous and they
Lost their cool.
started to do things. And you know what? The loss of life is a terrible thing, but it may well force their hand and put them into a situation where now, just a few days after this attack, they have the two men who did it.
Well, and you know what? When you talk about that, law enforcement, everyone had a really difficult choice to make. There was, 2 days ago, they were going to press conference.
Yeah, but his mate said he was an angel.